I got a ticket to play in a TURNIP28 tournament. A game which I had previously only played a single game of as a little test. And so I have spent the last weeks of my life painting all of these models for my very, very cool TURNIP28 army, which is full of these metal homunculi minis by Andrew May and Moritz Krebs. And it has been a bit of a grind. I was actually painting minis up until 2 AM the day of the tournament. And I was picked up at like 2:30, so I was actually putting the models in the box. They hadn't even really dried yet when I got picked up by Phil in the car. Around 8 AM we finally arrived in Bochum, which is where this tournament was held. It was organized by Gerrit, Grimsnack Miniatures, and the first thing we did was get a really nice and hearty breakfast. And after that it was time to go to the event. And the best thing about events like these is you meet all of your friends that you only see a couple of times a year. So there were lots of familiar faces here, lots of new faces too. And so it was great getting to talk to everybody and sort of share a common hobby and a common mindset. And there was a great atmosphere all around. They had set up a bunch of tables for the event. There were like a ton of tables, and every table had its own scenario, which is really fun. TURNIP28 is really a game that wants you to play narrative play, where you have a silly objective in every game you play, and it's never the same game twice. And these beautiful scenic tables with cool narrative setups really enabled us to get that with each and every game. I really wish I would have had like a week to just keep coming back and try every scenario on every table, because they are all so cool and so beautiful. So I want to say thank you to everyone who brought a table and some scenery. And as people began unpacking their armies, I got to take a look at some of them already. And I was blown away by the creativity that the TURNIP28 community shows all the time. Look at these amazing crabs. Here I was making a joke about how terrifying it would be to face off against them if you were my army, not knowing that I would in fact be facing off against those crabs later in the day. Seeing all of these amazing minis is what it's all about for me. And so, talking of minis, at this event I was finally able to give Gerrit the commissioned noble lancers that I painted for him a while back. He gave these minis to me at Spiel in Essen, which is a giant tabletop convention, and he kitbashed them at Camping Kitbash in Belgium. And so these minis have been on quite the hobby journey, and I think that makes them really special. They've got their own little story about community, about coming together, and about creating something that in the end becomes larger than the sum of its parts. And so for Gerrit to unbox his commission at his own event felt like the perfect full circle moment for these minis.
Yeah, so dear friends of Root Vegetables, the best thing about TUF are the participants.
The event started with Gerrit holding a little speech, introducing everyone, explaining how the tournament was going to work, introducing the venue to us, and after that it was off to the first game of the day, which I got to play against my friend Dan. So this first game, I actually tried to record as much of this as possible on my phone. We got lended this little tripod thing that didn't want to work, and I tried to set it all up to be nice and mic'd us up for like a little battle report. But yeah, I don't know if that will be like good enough or interesting enough for the main channel. I might just like cut that up and upload it for members only. I don't know, let me know in the comments if you would like to see that battle report. Maybe I will upload it to the main channel if enough people say that they do want to see that. But for now, I'll just give you a little summary. So this game was a winter landscape with presents, where you kind of go to the presents and then you flip them to see if they are objective markers or bombs that explode in your face. It was really fun playing against Dan, and I'm glad that I decided to film this game as like a little battle report, because all of the filming and all of the little nuances of trying to record every little bit of gameplay, you can really only do that with a friend. I wouldn't want to encumber a stranger with me just kind of pausing the game every 2 seconds. And so I won't spoil the outcome of the game in case you do want to watch that battle report. Suffice to say, it was really, really fun, and I really enjoyed playing against my friend and having my second ever game of Turnip, and the first one with my brand new Turnip army. In my second game, I had to face David and his army of terrible snail knights. These were really, really tough, and the scenario made it even harder because he was defending this castle and I had to lay siege with my tiny homunculi. This was really fun. At the end of the third round, the walls would come down and I had to touch the edge of his board at the end of the fourth round, and I barely made it. I was struggling really, really hard all game. My troops don't have a lot of movement, and his snails were very, very fast and very, very defensive. So it was a tough game. But in the end, with one unit of rootlings, I managed to sneak by and secure the win with like 1 inch of movement. And that marks halftime. During the break, we went and got some food, and also everyone put their armies up for display so we could have a vote on who had the prettiest and coolest army. And so I took that opportunity to go around and film some B-roll of all of the incredible things that people have built and brought to this tournament. This root shrine by Stefan is incredible. These little guys, you've seen those in a previous video. I love this little toad guy that's part of the official turnip lore. This person had brought an incredible nose cannon to the fight, and all the guys had little noses. Here's a walking tower. Some of the terrain pieces for the tables were incredible. These had all been brought by people attending the tournament. So to everyone who brought an army, who brought a single model, who brought a table or some terrain, thank you for making this event as memorable as it was, and also hats off, because these were some incredible painting and modeling skills on display, and it was so hard to pick my favorite for the vote. Game number 4, I played against Matt from Lenric's Realm. This was probably my favorite scenario of the day. There were vegetable patches where you had to go rooting for turnips, which was pretty dangerous because your models could die doing it. And also your enemy can steal them from you. So while I was busy desperately trying to harvest these roots, I was being attacked by Matt's crab abominations, and they hit really hard. He was loving it. He got his big daddy out. He rolled like 10 dice to attack my lonely wizard. Most of my army died, but I had a lot of fun facing off against Matt. Game 4. At this point, I had been awake for way too long, so I didn't film as much anymore. This was really fun as well. I faced off against Mo, and he had an army that uses the cult rules for the swelling, where you place a central model, in his case this tree, and you just grow roots every turn, making it impossible for your enemy to move around. My fodder were shooting down everything that came down this corridor, giving it their best, but in the end, I could only secure 2 out of 5 of the objectives. And also my die did this very cursed thing right at the end. And with that, I had increased the amount of games of TURNIP28 that I had played from 1 to 5, and I had a blast doing it. The day ended with Garrett giving the trophies away. There was a trophy for the best painted army, and of course there was a prize for winning the tournament. I did not win this one, but I think I did pretty good. I ended up winning half of my games, and the 2 games that I lost, I didn't lose by a mile. In the end, I think all of us were winners because this was such a special event. I want to thank everyone who participated and everyone who helped to bring this together. We had some live dungeon synth by Potion Maker in the end, and I really needed to get home because I was super tired.